I still remember the night it started. The night everything I thought I knew crumbled in slow, grinding disbelief. My phone buzzed just as I was stepping out of the shower. A text from an unknown number. "He won't be home tonight. Want to come over?" I froze, heart hammering, trying to convince myself it was a mistake, some random spam, some cruel coincidence. I stared at the screen for minutes, my hands shaking, trying to will it into nothing. But the dread didn't leave me. It lingered, heavy and insistent. In the days that followed, the small things started stacking up like stones on my chest. My wife, Emma, had always been meticulous, almost obsessive about routine, but suddenly she was forgetting things, brushing off my questions, guarded her phone as though it were a secret vault. I tried to chalk it up to stress, exhaustion, maybe even paranoia on my part. But when I called her during lunch and she didn't answer, only to text back hours later with a casual, "Was busy, don't worry," a small knot of suspicion twisted tighter in my gut. I began noticing the subtler signs. The faint perfume on her clothes, one I didn't recognize, when she insisted she had showered that morning. A drawer left slightly ajar in our bedroom. Her phone face down and locked whenever I entered. A half-hearted laugh that didn't reach her eyes when I joked about something. A smile too bright, too forced, like a costume. I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that love shouldn't be about suspicion. And yet, the doubts wouldn't leave. They perched at the edges of my mind, whispering things I didn't want to hear. Then came the night that broke me. I had stayed late at work, my mind restless, replaying every conversation, every glance, every tiny thing I had dismissed as harmless. When I finally pulled into our driveway, the house was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that makes the walls themselves seem complicit. I pushed open the door, calling her name softly, my voice echoing back at me. And then I saw her. She wasn't alone. Emma stood in the living room, laughing in that same too bright way, her hand pressed against the arm of another man I didn't know. The sight struck me like a physical blow. I froze mid-step, my chest tightening, and for a long, suspended moment, I just watched the world narrow into the two of them. Their heads were close, whispering, smiling, utterly oblivious to the life they were shattering. And then she saw me. Her smile faltered, a flicker of recognition and panic crossing her face. For a second, it seemed like she might reach out, explain, apologize, anything, but the words never came. Instead, there was that horrible, empty pause before reality sank in. My knees weakened, and I gripped the doorway, the cold wood biting into my palms. The betrayal was no longer a whisper in my mind. It was a live wire, sparking through every nerve. I left without a word, driving aimlessly through the night, my hands gripping the wheel until my knuckles whitened. Thoughts collided, memories of laughter, shared dinners, promises whispered in the dark, all of it now tainted. I kept thinking, was any of it real? Was I just a character in someone else's story? Days blurred into tense silences and forced smiles. Emma tried to explain, at first stumbling, then with a desperate clarity. She spoke of loneliness, unmet needs, mistakes she couldn't take back. I listened, numb, feeling anger, grief, and a hollow, residual love. Her guilt was palpable, but no amount of remorse could stitch together the trust she had shredded. I replayed our life over and over in my head. Small betrayals that seemed trivial, the times I had ignored the distance creeping between us. Every moment now felt like a subtle lie, and every smile a mask hiding the cracks I hadn't noticed. I realized love without trust is just memory. The turning point came unexpectedly. One quiet afternoon, I found myself sitting across from her, a cup of coffee between us, neither of us speaking for a long time. The house felt impossibly large, echoing with absence. She looked at me, eyes wet, and said simply, "I don't expect you to forgive me. I just need you to know I'm sorry." I nodded. No tears, no shouting, just a slow exhale of something that felt like the last of my hope for reconciliation. I realized then that love sometimes isn't about saving what's broken, but about saving yourself, about walking away with dignity intact. The next morning, I packed a bag and left, taking only the essentials, leaving behind the house the memories and the shattered illusions. The finality stung more than the betrayal itself, the weight of letting go of someone I had loved completely. But with every mile I drove away, the tightness in my chest began to ease, replaced by a fragile, quiet strength. I don't hate her. Not fully. Betrayal is complex, human, messy. But I do know this. I will never compromise my worth again. That smile she once flashed so confidently, it doesn't haunt me anymore. It's a lesson etched into my bones, a reminder that self-respect cannot coexist with deception. And as the horizon stretched before me, pale and infinite, I finally felt a strange, calming certainty. Life had betrayed me, yes, but I would not betray myself again.